That's a good sign.
Yeah,
We're doing good.
that might be Matt coming in.
All righty.
Thanks.
See you
We
tomorrow.
appreciate it in the home.
I'm tired. I think we're sitting in that something.
Yeah, that would do it for me too. Oh, somebody's trying to get in. Wes.
Well, today. I got her.
Don't get you on it. See you later.
We're recording right now, so. Hi, Wes.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Enjoying the weather.
Oh, I bet. I just saw somebody jogging and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. I would never run in this kind of weather.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, she's adorable.
She turns 1 tomorrow. Say hi, Palmer.
Happy birthday. Early.
She looks excited about it.
Yep.
Is she holding the phone?
No, I got my laptop right now, so she's just thinking she's FaceTiming with somebody probably. Mama's gonna have to take her here soon.
Yeah.
Trying to press everything.
Come on, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I know.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
She wanted to hang with Daddy.
I know, she loves it.
I wouldn't want to be sitting outside right now. I wouldn't want to be sitting outside right now. There's just no way.
I was in the air conditioning all day, so this is good for me.
I plan on leaving the air conditioning. Actually, I haven't turned my air conditioning on yet.
Really still? Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm the lower level on a condominium, so it's cool. It's 69 degrees in there right now.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Our basement's really cold too, but we have the air.
Yeah, over the weekend, Saturday, I had a sweatshirt on. It was that cold and it was 62 degrees.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was heaven, absolute heaven.
You could put on like some sweats and just cuddle up.
Yep.
That's like perfect.
Okay, if we get Mike on here, then we'll have a quorum and Mike is supposed to. Donnie said he wouldn't be able to make it and
Sure.
Heather is MIA. I don't know. So I think that it might be a recommendation to reach out to her to see if she wants to continue. And then if not, then we just start looking for another body to fill her. I shouldn't say refill her.
Yeah.
This is being recorded. I better watch it.
I was gonna jump on Zoom, but my kids are both wild right now. So
No,
I was gonna-
that's fine.
I'm close enough in like.
Oh, there's Mike.
Easier to stick on.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I never had that problem working from home with kids or anything, but I would have the patience for it.
Oh, either.
I'd lock them in a
Oh
closet.
gosh, my kids are so good. Like if I'm working from home or anything, they're just
First, you're lucky.
great. They go and play off on their own and stuff.
Hi, Mike. Is he muted?
It doesn't look like it's muted, so.
Mm-mm.
Hi, Mike. Oh, it's not like I don't talk loud enough. As soon as he acknowledges, we'll go ahead and get the meeting going. And then once he calls a meeting to order, we'll take a roll call of obviously who's here.
So.
Are you there, Mike? If you click on his name. Okay, so go down to, I want to send him a message, chat.
Oh,
You go to chat,
who's in chat?
right? Yeah. So, whoops, if you go to the arrow right beside the word chat. And then over there on the right, you'll see
Right
it
here.
says to everyone, if you do the drop down, if you mic and say, can you hear us? We're just checking to see if Mike can hear us. He's on the meeting, but he hasn't responded yet.
Oh. Trying to rejoin.
Oh. There he's connecting. Hi, Mike.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Loud and clear. That's good. Okay, Donnie is unable to make the meeting and Heather is kind of MIA. So we have 3 of you, so that's a So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chairman Yan.
All right. Good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and get the meeting for June 20th, 2022, planning and zoning started. Could I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
That's right. We need to call it to order
Oh,
first.
okay, we'll call the meeting to
We'll take a
order
roll call real quick.
and we'll take attendance of who's all present. So Matt Yan,
Mike,
Here.
Wes,
Here.
all right, so we'll call the meeting to order officially and should I just give a brief overview?
Actually, we need to approve the agenda, so we
Okay.
need somebody to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Can I get an aye, Mike?
I'll second that.
All right, I'm also in favor, so.
And then we'll need to move to the meeting minutes, approval of that from the last meeting, which was on June 6th.
Yep.
So I need a motion to approve the June 6th meeting minutes. Not all at once.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Now you can give a brief overview of what's going on, and I'll be happy to chime in and help you.
All right, sounds good. So, Annette graciously shared an update from the meeting that we had on June 6th. We reviewed Thunder Valley, phase 4. And after further review, it looks like the initial request to rezone the property for Thunder Valley phases 1 and 2. There were some duplexes built on lots that were zoned R1. And so we were gonna propose to rezone them at this meeting to R2 so that they're zoned according to their use.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in. Phase 1 and phase 2, we did find the ordinance for that, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
So it's phase 3, which is a commercial drive, and then there's like a little yellow string of those duplexes. Those were not zone correct. So what we're looking for tonight is just the rezone on that. There's a portion of phase 4 that needs to be R1. And then he wants some of this left behind for ag so that he can farm it. I talked to him today and he said that they probably wouldn't start building houses on that ag portion until 2025. And then, of course, we have that area that has where the church is proposed to go.
Yep.
So it's kind of a really weird way to do the zoning. But it's gonna work for now until he gets ready to build those houses in 2025. He'll need to come back to planning and zoning and rezone that as R1.
Okay.
So
And the zoning for the church would be R3. I think.
actually, it can actually be under an R1, R2, or an R3.
Oh, okay.
So we're good. So I mean, this is easy peasy. So it's R2 for the phase 3 and then R1 for the portion that's in yellow. And then it's an R1 for the portion that's in cyan or blue. So that's about the easiest way I can explain it without
sense.
confusing myself, because this was really a search and seek mission when I found this. So
Does anybody have any questions about that overview?
So I just gotta, maybe this is a knowledge deficit. On the north side of Ulana, is that in a certain phase or is that not on any of these phases? Or is that in like phase 2 already?
yeah, I think it's already in there, and I'm not sure if Tom Larson kind of overextended the line on that. It's always been my understanding that the property line ends at Juliana.
Yeah.
So I think he just overdrawn it.
The only question I had too is there was on the legend, it said green was R1, but I didn't see any R1. It was all just ag, R and R2, correct?
Yeah, that yellow is actually my green. It's a little bit darker yellow. And it's the same color as what's used at the title at the top, the Thunder Valley Estates 4, if you look on that plat.
Oh,
I think essentially it's that triangle.
It's the triangle piece.
North of the like orange mark there. It's kind of an off yellow green color.
I
okay.
tried to make green. I didn't have a green.
So there's no concern zoning that R1 and the rest R2, correct?
That's correct. Yep, we're good. That part of phase 4, the actual true color of yellow needs to be an R2, and that's part of phase 3.
Okay.
And that's the portion that he mentioned that there would potentially be duplexes. Or condos, right?
Yeah, duplexes.
And then I guess I was a little confused with why did they want to rezone the church since it could be R1, 2, or 3? Why did they want to do it to R3? Or has that been?
Well, R3 was a suggestion by me, and then looking at the R1 and R2, it does allow for a religious assembly.
Gotcha.
So has that purchase, I don't know, and that you have to guide us here. I mean, I think supportive of all this, but you could in theory just zone it all R2, right? And still, I mean, I guess, do we need to do it right now for the church or have him come back, or is it you just trying to kind of be efficient here?
I think what they're doing right now, Mike, is that they want the zoning in place so that the sale can go through. And that was a contingency that planning and zoning had made at the last meeting, that zoning would not take in effect until the property changed hands.
Okay.
So we can still have that contingency and the letter of recommendation to council.
Any concerns leaving the ag for now? I mean, I guess to your point, if it's going 25, it's not urgent, right? So.
I mean, he's a little worried like everybody else is with the economy, but that's his plans, is to move forward with single family in 2025. And, if the economy straightens out before then, he may want to come back to planning and zoning and have that rezoned at that time.
If we rezone this, is there any, it is just what it is. There's no time clause or anything, right? And that you just, they don't have to start anything, correct? Or do they?
Yeah. As soon as we rezone it, they can start.
They can start, yeah.
Yep.
And their plan is to start, correct?
Yeah, actually, that's why this is kind of a special meeting. That's why I labeled it as that, because I wanted to get the zoning cleared up for phase 3 and get this corrected, because they really didn't want to wait till the July 7th meeting to get moving. So knowing that it would be, whether it looks a little bit wonky, but it's a pretty easy sell in my case.
Are you comfortable with it?
Yeah, I am. I would much rather see the ag be R1, but I can understand right now that would raise his property taxes quite a bit for a few years. And I, would much rather have him be comfortable and doing what he's doing now.
So from our standpoint, we'd like to zone it right now, right? Because then we'd benefit, correct? City would.
Yes, you bet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I see it from your standpoint too, Mike, as far as, because if you leave it in ag, then you could come back in 3 or 4 years and say, well, I want to put apartments there now, or I want to, but then he would have to request it. So I guess at that point, he would.
I think under the R2, did I put the zoning in the meeting too? I think I did. Yeah, if you pull up in the R2 real quick, I think you can have. No, you can't. Okay, I was thinking for some reason, yeah, if he wanted to put apartments there, he's gonna have to come back and get an R3. So right now, he can only build single-family residential when he does rezone to R1. And then if he changes his mind and wants to put apartments in there, which I don't think he will, because that's his whole plan to do I think 11 more apartment buildings along Thunder Valley Drive, which is in phase 3. And he can do that. The dwellings for the apartments can't be more than 18 units. So, and consistently, that's what he's been doing with the first 2. I believe they're both 12 unit apartment buildings right now, and buildings 3 and 4 will be the same. So I really
basically those two those two east of Darkbird, that's where we're at. So he's gonna basically continue that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is the plan. So I don't really see him doing any kind of apartments in phase 4. I think it's all gonna be the duplexes that'll be R2 and then just single family for that balance that's in ag.
And then do they just want to get this zoned for phase 4 so they can start doing the infrastructure then? Is that kind of?
Yep. They want to go ahead and start with the site preparation, and it has to be zoned appropriately before they do anything.
Gotcha.
So again, that was the necessity to have a special meeting and not wait until the July 7th. So I guess moving forward, if there's not anything to discuss July 7th, then we just won't have a meeting. So there's your incentive.
So I'm supportive. I appreciate Wes and everybody's question and comments. One thing maybe you could just say is that, ideally we'd like to see that ag. I'm not going to be, not in this world, not with gas. And I mean, it's an interesting time, but what you could say is ideally in time, we'd like to see that R1, right? Because I think that's what, personally, this is an Ackerman opinion. That's what it's worth, but
Sure.
I think it makes sense what he's doing with the apartments where they're at and the rest of that being single family housing. The church isn't a bad place for that either, right? So, it doesn't feel too bad, right? I guess, I don't know what everybody's thoughts are, but that's maybe where I'm at is, hey, we'll kind of work with you here. Ideally in time, we'd like to zone that R1 sooner than later for our sake, right? So. Anyway.
Yeah, it just really cleans up the zoning map too.
Right. Wes, Matt, you got anything else? Appreciate your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I see it the same way that you have mentioned everything, Mike, as far as, everything looks like it's appropriate where it is being suggested. The single family housing, continuing that, and then the duplexes where they're at, I think that makes sense. I think if his real intention for the ag is to be single family housing in the future and just not rezoning it now because of tax purposes, I can understand that, but anything he wants to do moving forward, he'll have to come back and get it zoned. So we can, I guess, discuss it more at that time, but.
Yeah, and that can be part of your letter to council is that, when the time is appropriate, he wants to rezone the ag, then he needs to come back and make another request to planning and zoning.
And I doubt this will be an issue because it's 2025 and the houses are going up like crazy. If it was going to be broken ground next year, I would kind of almost want phase 1 and phase 2 more complete, but I assume by 2025 they're going to be almost filled out by that point because they're going up again fast.
Yeah, and I would agree. I don't think that we're going to have a robust new housing like we did last year, but we're still going to be building houses. Because everybody wants to live in Piasta and everybody wants to be on planning and zoning.
Yeah.
I think the first part of that question might be fair. This last part, anyway. That's a great comment, Wes. That's right. Before you get the cart ahead of the horse, right? But I think to your point, it's amazing to me the 16 years we've been, how many houses have went up, period, right? So I think it'll fill itself out, right? So.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's back here before 2025 with a request.
Yeah, unless the economy if interest rates continue to go up and things, it'll slow her down for a while, so.
Mike, I thought that was going to happen last year when the price of materials skyrocketed and it didn't slow people down.
Yeah, but you can still get cheap money, right? Money's not near as cheap as it was then, right? So I don't know. It's fair, but I haven't seen a 6.6 and an 30-year mortgage for a long time, so.
My first one was 18.7 back in 1985.
I think I had a credit card with that interest once, but anyway.
Okay.
I'm supportive. I guess, Wes, anything else? Otherwise,
Can you make a motion to that effect?
yeah, I'll make a motion to approve this rezoning request.
I'll second that request.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Perfect.
All right. Very good.
Okay, the only thing that would happen to come up for the July 7th meeting would be Deb McDonough's request to revise the public hearing component. So we certainly don't need to hold a meeting just for that. We did tell her that we would talk about it at a future meeting. So unless something else comes up, we'll just kind of tentatively say there's not a meeting on the 7th, but keep checking your email. Just in case.
Yeah, and then just, help guide us. I personally, I don't think there's anything, I don't know. I mean, how proactive do we gotta be, right? I mean, council is ultimately the decision, right? Planning and zoning is just a recommendation. And we're gonna do with what we're gonna do. And if folks want to watch for, some of those meeting agendas, I don't know. I just think it becomes a logistical nightmare for you guys. But I, welcome guidance on this. I mean, I think it's good to let residents know too. I mean, which we do, right? So anyway.
I think her whole premise was that she wanted the public to know that planning and zoning was going to be talking about holding a public hearing before the public hearing was even discussed. So again, it's a logistic nightmare. It would be really costly because we would have to do 2 separate mailings. And it just eats away at our time, and we're not doing anything any differently than any other community. And we're following the Iowa code.
Yeah, I would agree. I think she, I think it's very transparent what's on the agendas, and they're posted before we meet. We meet the same time span every month or every other month or whenever we are gonna have meetings, they're posted. So I think if people are interested, they can be interested and look at it, but we're not making the decision, so.
And right now, there's nothing in our code of ordinance that say we have to send those letters out to anybody. So I mean, we're doing this as a courtesy. So again, we're not doing anything illegal. We're not trying to hide anything from anyone. If we start changing the process, if we could change the process now, then we would have to change it at the council level too, and that would really be a problem. But I'll never see that in my lifetime. So again, I mean, if you want to consider this a discussion now, but it's not on the agenda, so we really can't discuss it. But I think I would make the recommendation, just wait until we have something of substance, and then we can have that discussion.
Okay, that sounds good. Because I think it's always an example, right? And it's always recent, right? So anyway, but I just think maybe, Matt, to your point, it's maybe we put in a newsletter again. Hey, friendly reminder, if there's some things going around in your area, you might check out planning and zoning me. I mean, people are willing to come, but at the same time, again, like we said, it's just a recommendation. The council is where you definitely want to hear from folks and where the decision is made ultimately, right? So anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you guys have any other questions?
No, for tonight. No other questions or comments? Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? I'll say aye. All right.
All right,
Very
thanks,
good.
gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.